What is up, horror fans, and welcome back to the channel. If you were online in late 2017, you definitely remember Granny, the deceptively simple survival game that took over the world. Escaping her terrifying house is a nerve-wracking blend of puzzles and pure stealth. But ask yourself, who is this terrifying, bat-wielding figure, and why on earth did she choose us to be trapped in her blood-soaked home? Today, we are diving deep into the grim lore of the Granny universe, tracing her origins back through the Slendrina games to uncover the horrifying family timeline, her true monstrous identity, and how the game itself evolved from a bare-bones mobile scare to the complex, multi-escape horror epic we play today. Get ready, because Granny's story is ancient, bloody, and genuinely disturbing. To understand Granny, we must start with her lineage. Granny and Grandpa were originally a human couple. Their daughter later became Slendrina's mother, making Granny the grandmother of the infamous Slendrina. This connects the Granny universe directly to the entire Slendrina series, which started way back in 2013. The true origin of the family's curse, and the root of Granny's current undead existence, is documented in Slendrina's diary. This diary, found in the game The Child of Slendrina, confirms the most chilling event, the poisoning. On July 10, 1892, Slendrina's mother, who was already considered crazy, poisoned the family dinner. Slendrina and her father died from the poisoning and subsequently became ghosts. After this horrific act, the family, including Granny and Grandpa, transformed into monsters, though the exact moment Granny became immortal and undead is unclear. She is now identified as a sentient zombie, over 100 years old, and unkillable. Some fans theorize that Slendrina's mother, having regretted the poisoning and grieving the outcome, used dark powers or the 7 books to resurrect the family, which tragically resulted in their monstrous forms. Others believe Slendrina herself cast a spell of immortality on Granny, turning her existence into a curse. Following the collapse of Slendrina's husband's castle in Slendrina Dex, Granny and Grandpa took on the grim task of collecting the remains of their cursed family. They brought back Slendrina's husband, Nosferatu, keeping his dead body locked in a coffin. Granny eventually kept her own daughter, Slendrina's mother, chained up inside her house, implying their relationship is now actively hostile. Slendrina, the granddaughter, meanwhile, resides in the spirit of all 3 homes. Granny is officially confirmed to love Grandpa, Slendrina, and Slendrina's child. So why does this ancient monster matriarch trap us, the player? The game's backstory confirms that the protagonist was simply walking through the forest late at night when they came across the huge house. Granny, described as a rotting old woman, ambushes the player, knocks them out with her bloody baseball bat, and drags them inside. According to the developer, DVloper, Granny captures people because they invade her territory. She is a territorial hazard who indulges in kidnapping, hunting people, and murdering them. Once inside, the game begins. You are locked up and given 5 days, or 5 attempts, to escape. Fail to escape by the 5th day, and you are executed, possibly facing cannibalism, as suggested by her basement jump scare. The house itself is covered in evidence of her territorial rage. Blood splatters from the previous victim are scattered throughout. There are tally marks counting the days until Granny killed them, and a note left by the victim details their struggle. This previous victim was driving when their car broke down, then was hit in the head and dragged inside, exactly like us. They managed to unlock a couple of locks before succumbing. The critical mechanic that makes Granny so effective is her hearing. She hears everything. Dropping an item, stepping on a creaking floor, or knocking over furniture sends her running to the exact location of the sound. Granny hearing a spoon drop from 85 miles away should honestly be a superpower. When Granny gets close, you often hear her footsteps, but after she leaves a spot following an unsuccessful search, she always plays a specific voice track, usually saying, "Where are you?" Interestingly, if Granny accidentally knocks over a plank herself, she will run toward the sound, suggesting a minor oversight in her AI, making her a bit stupid. The Granny we play today is unrecognizable compared to the original bare-bones version 1.0 released on Android on November 24, 2017. The continuous updates turned a small house into a full-blown murder mansion. The original release was incredibly minimal, featuring only the upstairs and downstairs. Granny's first appearance in version 1.0 was horrifyingly primitive. She had very flat textures and almost no shading. Crucially, she didn't have legs in her model yet. It wasn't until version 1.2 that Granny's model finally started to include black shoes and legs. The original in-game voice tracks were pitched up, but the unmodified files show lines like, "All I wanted to do is play with you." Furthermore, the original voice tracks were sourced from an external actor, not just DVloper's wife, who voiced the later tracks. In 2018, the game exploded in scope. Version 1.3 added the backyard and shed areas, introducing the well, the playhouse, and the guillotine. Version 1.4 introduced the garage area and the shotgun defense mechanism. The biggest game changer was version 1.5. This update introduced the car escaping procedure and Granny's first major pet, the spider, which guarded key items. This was also the version that saw the game's first PC release. When you gather the parts for the car escape, you use the engine part, spark plug, car battery, gasoline can, and car key. The meat used to lure the spider was actually a repurposed model from one of DVloper's older canceled games. This lady can teleport, run, hear ants, and break your ankles. My grandma just makes chai. Version 1.7 brought even more complexity, adding the crow as a new pet and the freeze trap defense item. It also significantly expanded the map, adding the old house kitchen, dining room, and sewer areas. The iconic, loud screech Granny makes when she sees you hiding under a bed is actually sampled from the movie Insidious, Chapter 2. The latest major lore expansion arrived in version 1.8. This update added the ominous spider cellar and the third way to escape, the Cellar Pipe escaping procedure, which requires new items like the chain cutter and wooden stick. On the PC port, Granny's eyes actually change color. On day 1, her eyes appear gray. They only change to bright white on days 2 through 5, or whenever she kills the player, making her visually more menacing as the game progresses. Nightmare Mode Granny went from 1-pound level flat black decay to a full grotesque cursed boss. Granny is the unkillable, undead matriarch of a cursed family, living for centuries in a loop of violence that began with a poisoned dinner in 1892. She captures you because you trespass on her property, and she sees you as nothing more than prey for her territorial game. What started as a basic mobile game in 2017 grew into a sprawling, puzzle-filled horror epic with multiple escape routes, pets, and traps, culminating in the complex version 1.8.8. Which escape route is your favorite? The classic front door, the chaotic car, or the grimy cellar pipe? If you enjoyed this deep dive, smash that like button and subscribe for more horror analysis. Stay safe and stay quiet.